Good morning everyone. I am Dr. K. Brinda, Head of Department BCom Professional Accounting in Dr. S.M.S. Rajalakshmi College of Arts and Science, and today's topic is about sampling techniques. When you conduct research about a group of people, it's rarely possible to collect data from every person in that group. Instead, you select a sample. The sample is a group of individuals who will actually participate in the research. To draw valid conclusions from your results, you have to carefully decide how will you set sample that is representative of the group as a whole. This is called as a sampling method. For example, sampling frame. The sampling frame is the actual list of individuals that the sample will be drawn from. Ideally, it should include the entire target population. So you are doing a research on working conditions at social media marketing company. Your population is all 1,000 employees of the company. Your sampling frame is the company's HR database, which lists the name and contact details of every employee. And the other thing is sample size. The number of individuals you should include in your sample depends on various factors, including size and variability of the population and your research design. And the purpose of having a sampling is to approximate a larger population on characteristic relevant to the research question to be representative so that the researchers can make inferences about the larger population. Often impossible to study every person in a large population of interest. Instead, researchers study a sample to make estimates about the total population. A population in the context of statistics refers to the set of items. These can be people, event, households, institutions, or something else that are subject of research about which a researcher would like to answer a given question. The sample is a set of data collected from the population of interest or target population. A sample is collected from a sampling frame or the set of information about the accessible units in sample. Again, these units could be people, events, or other subjects of interest. Under sampling methods, we have probability sampling and non-probability sampling. Probability sampling means that every member of the population has a chance of being selected. It is mainly used in quantitative research. If you want to produce results that are representative of the whole population, probability sampling techniques are the most valid choice. And it has 4 major subdivisions. The first one is simple random sampling. In a simple random sample, every member of the population has an equal chance of being selected. Your sampling frame should include the whole population. To conduct this type of sampling, you can use tools like random numbers generators or the other techniques that are based entirely on chance. And the second one is systematic sampling. Systematic sampling is similar to simple random sampling, but is usually slightly easier to conduct. Every member of the population is listed with a number, but instead of randomly generating numbers, individuals are chosen at regular intervals. And third one is stratified sampling. Stratified sampling involves dividing the population into subpopulations that may differ in important ways. It allows you to draw more precise conclusions by ensuring that every subgroup is properly represented to the sample. To use the sampling method, you divide the population into subgroups called strata based on the relevant categories. Example, gender, identity, age, range, income, job role, etc. And the last one is cluster sampling. Cluster sampling also involves dividing the population into subgroups, but each subgroup should have similar characteristics to the whole sample. Instead of sampling individuals from each subgroup, you randomly select entire subgroup. If it is practically possible, you might include every individual from each sampled cluster. If the clusters themselves are large, you can also sample individuals from within each cluster using one of the techniques above. This is called as in multi-stage sampling. The second method is non-probability sampling. Here, individuals are selected based on non-random criteria. Not every individual has a chance of being included. Non-probability sampling techniques are often used in exploratory and qualitative research. It has subdivisions of 5 topics, and the first one is convenience sampling. A convenience sample simply includes the individuals who happen to be most accessible to the researcher. This is an easy and inexpensive way to gather initial data, but there is no way to tell if the sample is representative of the population, so it can't produce generalizable results. And the second one is voluntary response sampling. Similar to a convenience sample, a voluntary response sample is mainly based on the ease of access. Instead of researchers choosing participants and directly contacting them, people volunteer themselves. And the third one is purposive sampling. This type of sampling, also known as judgment sampling, involves the researcher using the expertise to select a sample that is most useful to the purpose of the research. And the fourth one is snowball sampling. If the population is hard to access, snowball sampling can be used to recruit participants via other participants. The number of people you have access to snowballs as you get in contact with more people. The downside here is also representativeness, as you have no way of knowing how representative your sample is due to the reliance on participants recruit others. And the last one is quota sampling. Quota sampling relies on the non-random selection of predetermined number of proportions of units is called as a quota. You first divide the population into mutually exclusive groups and then recruit sample until you reach your quota. These units share specific characteristics determined by you prior to forming your strata. The aim of quota sampling is to control what or who makes your sample. Thank you.